Hey, read through the word. Today is July 27th, and I somehow got all the hard stuff this week. We've had a lot to deal with in our readings, and really strong stuff from Isaiah. And today is no different. Specifically, I want us to look at Isaiah 58:1 through Isaiah 59:13, which can be grouped as one section for what Isaiah is calling the people out on. So I'm going to just read a couple of things for us to then have the lesson on today. It starts with this. Shout with the voice of the trumpet blast. Shout aloud. Don't be timid. Tell my people Israel of their sins. Yet they act so pious. They come to the temple every day and seem delighted to learn all about me. They act like a righteous nation that would never abandon the law of its God. They ask me to take action on their behalf, pretending that they want to be near me. We fasted before you, they say. Weren't you impressed? We've been very hard on ourselves, and you don't even notice. I will tell you why I respond, God speaking. It's because you're fasting to please yourselves. Even while you fast, you keep oppressing your workers. What good is fasting when you keep on fighting and quarreling? This kind of fasting will never get you anywhere with me. And then so God continues to go through that type of conversation, telling Isaiah to tell the people this, of what's going on. And then we get to all the way through. And then when you start at the top of chapter 59, it says, listen, the Lord's arm is not too weak to save you, nor is his ear too deaf to hear you call. It's your sins that have cut you off from God. Because of your sins, he has turned away and he will not listen anymore. So he continues these very, very strong words. So let's take a look at what's going on in this section. I think you're getting to the point where I always make this argument when I'm teaching the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, intertestamental period, which is one of my favorite things to teach, and I'm actually going to teach it for y'all one day. It'll be a separate bonus lesson for Read Through the Word. But when you read all of these things, we have an understanding of a New Testament Christian that or you hear this said a lot, the Old Testament, there's the Old Testament God, there's the New Testament God, there's the Old Testament religion, there's the New Testament religion, and that like it's different. There's different covenants, but it's not different. Old Testament people were saved by faith. Romans, Hebrews, all those will tell us that. But along the way, the Old Testament, the Jews, by the time you close the Old Testament, they have turned their religion into a works-based religion. And this is what Isaiah is calling them out on. Their rituals versus their responsibilities. They live by ritual. It would be actually what we would consider today, I would use the term witchcraft. That if I do this, then God is obligated to me and has to do that. That like God's on our puppet string and we can make him do whatever we want by if we do this. And that's what he's calling them out on their empty worship. You say, this is what he says, you say, but we fast. Look what we do. We go through all of this for you, God. He says, no, you don't. You're just trying to make yourself look good. And this is one of those things that if we could see original languages, these words delighted, God is calling them out in. You're making it look like you want to know about me. You don't want to know about me. You're delighted in learning and being near me. That's how he's saying this. He said, no, you don't. You just want what I can do for you. And so the continuing thing through the Old Testament is God will not be mocked, and he will not be treated this way. He tells them, your worship becomes empty, I will cut off the rains. That's one of the things you see. We saw that with Elijah. And then the next thing that will happen is I will remove you from the land. So that's coming. And Isaiah has been saying that all along. And so the people are crying, but we fast, but we show up to the temple. We would say, but we go to church. Well, now, but we do these things for God. You would never let anything bad happen to us because look how good we are. We put on a good show for you. And he says, I see your hearts. They're not right. You're not doing this for a relationship. You're just trying to see what you can get out of me. Isaiah confronts them in their hypocrisy. And with boldness. Those are strong words. I think sometimes it is helpful when you're reading this, read it out loud. Even if it's just you by yourself in your room. Read it out loud because then you hear the strong words that are used. And he clarifies the path, the true path to the blessings of God. They used their worship as pious, and you even see that, well, we're trying to make ourselves look good, but we do this for you, God, but we do that for you. The New Testament, you see in James, and James says, no, pure and undefiled religion, this is not what it looks like. It matters how. He said, you can't fast and then oppress people. You can't show up to the temple and then treat your neighbor like dirt. That's a paraphrase of the Minor Prophets, but that's what he's saying in here. Read all of that. And then so Isaiah chronicles the abuses that they have committed against their neighbor, against people in their own land, and even against people that do not believe as them. The sojourner, and he's like, that's not who you are. You're my people. You don't act like this. And God will not be used. And that's what he says. He refuses to be used. And the people are offended and says their religion doesn't work. Well, I made the sacrifice. Why didn't you do this for me, God? I fasted. Why didn't you do this for me, God? This was all about a relationship. Don't tell me we don't do this same thing. I've been guilty of it. And said, but, I teach the Bible, God. Shouldn't my life be perfect? No. We make these same type of statements that these people are making. That we attempt to gain advantage with God, and in the same breath, here's James again. Same breath, we oppress people. Amos calls them out on that. The cows of Bashan. Those same type of things. That is the constant thing about your religion and your relationship this way cannot be different from your relationship this way. I've covered this a few times with y'all. Your relationship with God, the vertical shows up in the horizontal. If the horizontal's off, then this is off. And that's what he's calling them out on. He says true fasting leads to a true blessing because it leads to a stronger relationship this way. But because they're doing it just not eating to try to show off before God, and then in the same breath oppress the people around them, God says it's not real. Jesus will call them out on that. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, whitewashed tombs. Same thing. It's the same sin. It's the same sin we commit today. we think of God as an if-then. We pull him, I always say, we put God in a box, put him in the top of the closet, pull him out on Sundays when we want him, or when something goes wrong, we'll pull him out and use him the way we want, and then when we don't need him anymore, we put him back in the box and put him back up. No, that's not the way this works. Everything is all about him. It's, even now, do we believe that Christianity is about works, or is it about faith? Is everything we do just about show, or is it really real? Because the show looks good to everybody else, but God sees what's really real. Are we cold-hearted? Lord, please let us not be. I'll see you next time on Read Through the Word.